Red alert! This video contains hot takes on World of Warcraft that not even Sean Evans could muster. Good luck! Hello, so I tweeted this out. Respond with your spiciest hot takes on WoW, and oh boy, I opened the floodgates. Battle for Azeroth is not even close to being WoW at its worst. I would even argue that it's one of WoW's stronger expansions, at least in terms of story. I have more of an issue with TBC comparatively. Okay, this is definitely a hot take. And yeah, TBC wasn't a great expansion story-wise, that's for sure. And if we're only talking about storytelling here, then yeah, BFA isn't worse than TBC. But I still think I prefer TBC story and lore over BFA, just because N'Zoth was ruined, the whole Teldrassil thing. What happened to Ashara, plus a huge focus on Sylvanas, who had already had a huge focus in the expansion prior. But this time, we had basically no idea what she was doing, which got pretty tiring after 2 years plus. WoW's payment model is one of the scummiest in the gaming industry, having to buy the actual game, every new expansion, priced like an AAA game, and then they have the audacity to put in an in-game store. Okay, let me preface this by saying that I don't think the in-game store is what makes WoW bad. WoW can be very good and also have an in-game store. But yeah, I've spent thousands of dollars on World of Warcraft in my time, and after all that, you should be able to get every single mountain pet in the game. But Bobby likes his yachts. And also, I don't even think this is a hot take, Iglit, okay? Bring me something spicier! Warlords of Draenor was one of the best expansions. The only thing that held it back was Blizzard's incompetence to focus on a few tasks instead of too many at the same time, which caused it to have way too much content scrapped. I mean, yeah, Barbuk, I could say that about anything. Fact of the matter is, WoD had basically no content in comparison to any other WoW expansion. So yeah, potentially if they hadn't scrapped all that content, a whole continent and whatever else, then it could have been great, but I mean, the fact is it isn't, so it isn't one of the best expansions, so I disagree. The content we did get was okay, but I mean, how much content did we get? WoW needs to remove some quality of life changes like instant dungeon teleportation and automatic ability gaining. Make class trainers relevant again. A little tediousness would do a lot to make the game feel like a world again. You know, part of me agree with you because I'm a little bit nostalgic as well, and there is something to be said about the ability to make the world more alive that way. But man, I think the days of me running from Ironforge to Scarlet Monastery are over, man. I can't do that anymore. You know, I'm grown up now. I have responsibilities, allegedly, so I don't know about that, but the ability gaining, I wouldn't be against it. You definitely lose the fantasy about character progression whenever you just learn abilities as you level up, instead of actually going and learn it from a trainer. But same with the teleportation, I don't think that this is something that I necessarily need WoW to have nowadays. Although over time, having lost multiple of these small pieces to WoW probably has changed the feel of the game entirely. Like the parts make the whole or whatever. But no matter what way you go with all these issues, there will be consequences to whatever you choose, and I think with Dungeon Finder, I actually appreciate whatever we gain over what we lose. Time, because it's a limited resource, use it as best as you can. I just spewed out an Instagram quote. Live life while you have it. It would be a shame not to. Oh my god. BFA is extremely overhated, and generally 90% of people that still scream it was bad has just decided it was bad without actually considering the parts they like or dislike. You know, with all due respect to Halo 10, that's a pretty narrow-minded way to look at it, I think. I think a lot of people who dislike BFA disliked it for a lot of good reasons. I mean, I can tell you my top 5 right now. Number 1, it's very impressive how they managed to concoct the most boring gameplay of all time in Warfronts. Number 2, I wasn't a big fan of the island expeditions either, and basically being forced to do them as a mediocre Mythic player back then basically made it into the most overused and cliche word in the Warcraft community vocabulary at sure. Number 3, also as a mediocre Mythic player, your DPS relied a lot on if you got benthic gear or not, and the RNG around getting the right benthic with a socket might not have been absolutely necessary, but it's certainly frustrating when you're trying to be the best you can be, and you spend 3-4 months doing world quests to try to get pearls to get the item, and you just never get it. Number 4, the whole Azerite armor system was just very RNG based as well. Like, you getting the best combination for your spec, which isn't the worst thing if it wasn't for the fact that we also had benthic at the same time, and you know, just a lot of RNG around gearing, and it just made it feel a little bit futile. And also we had the whole eye level trade cap, which meant that if you got an item from a boss that you wanted to trade to a friend, you just couldn't do it if your own item in the same slot had less eye level than the other one. Gearing was just kind of a mess. And number 5, after having built him up for like a decade, they absolutely squandered N'Zoth to the point where he's just a side note in the WoW story. At least Argus and Sargeras got the zone Argus as a physical in-world remnant of their influence. N'Zoth is just evaporated. Goldshire Inn is the best place to find lore-friendly people in. Listen, I wouldn't know that because I haven't spent too much time in Goldshire, but yeah, they might be very lore-friendly if it comes to like the steamy romance novels. I could see that happening. But that's it for this video. A pretty short one, I know, but I have a lot more responses to that tweet, so if you want to see some more, subscribe and like the video if you want the YouTube algorithm algorithm to show you whenever I post another one. Alright, see ya.